the idea of MSF in Hong Kong, people told me, you know, Hong Kong people, they like finance, they like banks, you know, they're not going to be interested in humanitarian aid, forget it, you know. And I said, no, I think there's something and I want to test it. Please let me test it.
At the beginning, it was Anne in her apartment. She was using any contact she could to find a way to start this thing, because you start with no base at all.
I wanted to present MSF the way it was, not through charities or whatever. I wanted to show MSF as a bit fresh and young and backpacker style, but at the same time very professional organization, you know, doctors, nurses and people who knew what they were doing.
The team was very small. We had a great brand that we were starting with, but we really had to start from zero. We had no budget to do advertising, we had no donors, we had no project. We were just MSF. We managed to get space in Pacific Place through connections to Swires. So our launch was really a big launch from something with no beginning. And then we managed to get Chris Patton, the governor of Hong Kong then, to come and make the opening ceremony and make a speech. Remembering that this whole thing had just come from an idea. Let's start in Hong Kong, and suddenly we're making this big presentation.
It was a big event, very tiring event, when there was a big cholera crisis in Goma, in Africa, just a month after we opened the office. I had a contact with Cathay Pacific, late Peter Such. An hour later, he called me back and he said, I have a plane for you. If you load a 747 of materials that you guys need in Goma, then, you know, the plane is yours. And the British Army gave us 5 big cars and water tanks.
The biggest thing we could do was to try and get volunteers in the field. We found Edwin very quickly, and then Chris and Kwan and Giselle, but it was actually quite difficult at that stage to find them places in the field, because the projects in the field at that time didn't understand Hong Kong. How were we going to send a volunteer? But for our point of view, we wanted to get a Hong Kong face in the field, not only because it's great to be in the field, but also to give us something for the media.
I was 29 when I first joined MSF to work in the South Sudan program. When I was working in South Sudan, I got a flood of letters and mails from Hong Kong people. Most of them I didn't know. They showed great interest and they really appreciated what you did in the field.
We got a grant from Belgium as a sort of marketing, a launching marketing budget, and used that money to start direct mailers, buy mailing lists, and just start grunting, just sending out.
MSF Hong Kong at the time, it was a very small partner section with just a few staff. We were sending maybe 1 volunteer a year to field missions at the time. So the emphasis, the vision, was really to build up that partner section and of course to build up the association and play a more valuable role within the MSF movement as a whole. We were blessed to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1999. That was really a moment of joy. It was, for me, the most memorable moment because obviously that gave much more credibility and raised the profile of the organization in Hong Kong and in the region, and really boosted our efforts to be a much more active humanitarian player in the region. Another very memorable experience for me is MSF's response to the SARS crisis that took Hong Kong by storm in the spring of 2003. It was the first time MSF was running operations on Hong Kong soil since our program for the Vietnamese refugee camps years before. MSF dispatched a small team to Hong Kong, basically to help the hospital authorities to cope better with the protection of their health staff working on the front lines.
Regarding the regionalization of MSF Hong Kong, I think people are very ambivalent about it. But from my personal opinion, I think it's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a positive development because the whole existence of MSF in Asia is to be able to engage in the humanitarian needs of people. And for good reason, aside from addressing the needs of people, I think there are many very good workers in this region that can get active in the platform. From a regional organization perspective, I think we are moving towards what MSF actually wishes us to be.
The flying recruitment project came along with MSF Belgium, where we saw the potential of recruiting more volunteers within the region. We flew in to Bangkok, to Singapore and to Delhi, and we did some recruitment activities, and it was quite successful.
It's very important that you have an emergency response capacity from Hong Kong. The fact that we were able, on day 2 of the Philippines typhoon, to be on the spot with a Filipino doctor who knows the country as an emergency coordinator wins you so much time and energy. I think MSF Hong Kong in the future will play a more important role than ever.
I think in FSU countries' context, this is a very crucial combination. The conviction to MSF values is crucial in defending our operation, and yet the Asian etiquette can also greatly help us to gain acceptance to our presence and our work.
I see MSF Hong Kong as a very committed office with committed members also in the association that are not the loudest in movement, but that deliver a lot of work. And there's a lot of modesty in claiming the results that you do.
MSF represents, at least in my heart, the ideal. The idea that a group of people out there that share the same belief. I feel that I have my whole distant family working around the world with the same beliefs and willing to work on the same efforts to the same cause is very important.
Congratulations MSF for the first 20 years, 20 more years to come.
Happy 20th anniversary, MSF.
As a volunteer, as a biggest fan of this organization, you will always have my biggest support.
Thank you for all your hard work, for your efforts, your time and achievements during the past 20 years.
I wish you all a very happy 20th anniversary, and perhaps I will be with you. If I'm not in person, then I will be in spirit with you. Happy birthday to MSF Hong Kong.
無國界醫生20週年快樂！
無國界醫生香港辦事處20週年快樂！